Okay, so today we'll only concentrate on one blessing because there's three major philosophical questions um, that are all encompassed in this blessing. The first one is, what is a tzaddik, a righteous person? What does it include? And the second question is, what does our bitachon, our faith in God, include? And the third is, um, why do we want to be included with those people if we aren't really practicing their kind of faith? Um, so I think that those are the major points here, and there's so much more in the philosophical writings. There's only one nativa bitachon of Maharal, only one path of faith in God, because he feels that he wrote everything else that is already possible about having faith in God before that. So this was just to emphasize on that. The righteousness of God is very clear, and I heard an amazing class from Rabbi Gladstein, who said that the only people who were ever called tzaddik in the Tanakh are Noach, Yosef, and Hashem. Okay, we in Asher we say tzaddik Hashem b'chol drachav. Obviously, Hashem is not a person, but those are the only three that are called tzaddik. And the common denominator, according to that, is that these are people who provided or continue to provide food for the rest of the people. So Noach sustained all the animals and his family in the Teva. Yosef sustained the people of Egypt and then of Canaan, and Hashem continues every day to sustain the whole world. And so that's the comment about tzaddikim. And then the question is, what what are we asking basically, and do we think that we can reach that level? So the Ashkenaz custom is to say al tzaddikim ve'al chasidim ve'al ziknei Amcha Bet Israel. So three categories already, and then there's two more categories. Ve'al Pletatzo for him, which is most understood as Yavne, when Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai met with the Roman future emperor. He told him, "Can you please preserve Yavne v'Chachamea?" Yavne was the other center of Torah studying. It's not where Yavne is today, but we assume that it was somewhere pretty close. And Gerei Tzedek are the righteous converts, of course. Ve'aleinu yemur rachamecha Adonai Eloheinu. So Hashem's mercy should be on us. And give a good reward in the next world. That's what we believe, according to the majority opinions in the Talmud, that the reward for our acts is not in this world, but there is some reward in this world, but the majority is in the next world. For all of those who trust in your name completely, be'emet, with truthfulness, and place us with their part forever, and we will not be embarrassed, meaning we identified with these people even though we were not at that level of tzaddikim, chasidim, ziknei. Ziknim literally means elders. Plutatzo for him, the ones who survived in Yavne and Gerat Tzedek. We are not any of those five categories. We are all Jewish people who were born into the faith. And by the way, converts also say this blessing, but it's again a plural blessing about us wanting to be part of them and to enjoy the same reward that they enjoy because we have trusted in you. Baruch atah Hashem Yisharanu v'tachas tzadikim. If you remember, a couple of months ago, I mentioned the test about the Niagara Falls, where there's a tight rope, and God says, "Get in the wheelbarrow, and I'll walk you across the tight rope, and you'll get to the other side." And as much as my trust myself in Hashem is, I don't think that I will be able to make such a commitment. And so faith and trust in God is something that we all have to work on. I don't think I'll ever get to that level, but I just wanted to be honest that that this is, I think, part of this blessing, that we want to say, even though we have not practiced either of these five other groups, we still want to know that we are trustworthy, and that Hashem trusts in us. So the main difference is between Sfarad and Sfaradi together, and not Ashkenazi, is this one. Okay, so that because we are already trusting, that's where the difference is. Because we already showed our trust in you, so please place our reward with them, and we will never be embarrassed to be sons and daughters of Hashem. And the Sephardi is almost word for word. There's just a few extra letters. So it's instead of Ziknei Amcha Beit Israel, the elders, it's just She'erit, the people who remained in the land of Israel. May you have complete mercy, Hashem Elokeinu, and give good reward to those who trust in your name truly, and place our part with them, period. And so this is another whole sentence, that we are trusting in your great kindness, and we are leaning on it. And that, as far as I know, is based on the last page of Masechet Sota in the Talmud, where it says that there's going to be 15 or 16 different signs at the time of the Messiah, and all of them, at least to what I could see, are not very positive things. They're all very negative about the economy, about the relationship between the leadership and the people, about the things that the leadership actually does or doesn't do, including very heinous sins. And at the very, very end, they say, is that what we're going to endure at the end of days? And the rabbis say, we have no one to actually lean on, to trust on, except for our Father in heaven. And that's why the ending of the blessing is most appropriate in terms of the whole context. Mish'anu miftach tzadikim, that Hashem is both a cane or a walker, and a miftach, a safe place for those who are righteous. And so we are asking Hashem to please consider us as righteous, and even if we don't fully deserve it, because that's the only thing that will keep us going for the next world. The biggest not identified question here is what we talked about last week a little bit with Rabbi Dr. Shaul, which is that the people who are doing good in the world do not seem to be very successful financially, or even, can even feed their children. And so that's a very big question, but the answer is, I think, in these words itself. When we ask these people, you're a tzaddik, you're a chassid, you are a rebbe of chassidim, you are one of the elders, you are one of the people that was continued the tradition, you are one who joined us from another nation. How do you feel about the fact that you are suffering all these physical problems? The answer that they will tell us is, I don't know what suffering you're talking about. They truly believe that this is the way that this world works. They know, and they are assured that their reward will be in the next world. It would have been nice if I had a few dollars in the bank account, but that's not what's going to stop me from having this complete faith in God. And that's very reassuring to us, that even if we never reach these levels of people who have sacrificed their life in their lifetime to make Torah preserved, and to make the Jewish community well supported, not financially, just spiritually, then we can say, yes, Hashem kept all these people alive because they're the ones who give us the courage. Last but not least, we mentioned Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. He had to trick the zealots in Jerusalem in order to leave the city to meet with the Roman emperor. And when he was asked afterwards, why didn't you just ask him not to destroy the temple? He said, because that was not a realistic request. I only asked for things that were realistic, and I knew that he would not agree to not destroy the temple. So that's the kind of leadership we need. We need the leadership that is not only optimistic, which is great, but also realistic. And we hope and pray that none of us become pessimistic. And that's my prayer all the time, because I've seen some of these horrific things, and that's what I want to trust, that Hashem will help us recognize those beautiful spiritual gifts.